Question 2, trouble with parent. Certainly at Evanston there was almost no such problems with parents. All the kids were doctors' kids, architect kids and such. And, you know, either they really wanted to be in physics or their parents really wanted them to be in physics. Other than occasional truancy, no real problem. At Lincoln, however, a couple things came up. One that come into mind, I had a parent come in, very furious. Their A student was failing my class. So we sat down, and I've always, even since Evanston, I make up a spreadsheet for each week, and I post it on Friday so kids know what they're missing, what they need to make up, and what their grade is. So I got that out and I showed, and you know, it was mostly missing assignments, a lab, and a bunch of homework. Now there's no excuse for missing my homework. My homework policy is that I assign homework, it comes in the next day, I try and grade it as quick as possible, and then I take my solution the next day and I post it outside the wall of my classrooms in the hallway so that everyone can see it. Sometimes if a student does a really good job, I'll post their homework outside. And then my policy is all you have to do is copy it. If you copy down the homework, and I think there's a value in that. They have to actually sit down, they have to look at it, they have to write. Myself, even when I take notes, I rarely refer to them. I find that just the act of taking notes can be very useful and help me to remember. So all they do is copy it down, they hand it in, I give them half credit. This keeps them in the game, they don't fall oh so far behind that they'll never catch up. And again, I think it has some academic value. So I pointed out to the parent all the missing assignments, and then I brought out my graph that showed all the scores of all the students, and I showed where on the line her student fell, way low, way much lower than a student who was a good student, good BA student. And so then we sat down and I made a list of what the student needed to do, and I added in a project because they should have to do a little bit extra if I'm going to go through that work. And this seemed to help with the parent, and I gave them a deadline when things had to be in, and I raised their grade actually up to a C. Usually my policy is just one letter grade, but D's are kind of harsh. This was a good student. If their project was really good, I was willing to go a little bit extra. It was, of course, not an A or B as they should have gotten, but I think probably a pretty good lesson. And that's how I handled that particular case. Thank you so much.